Hey, OpenXML developers. In this screencast, I'm going to explore how you can work with FlatOpc using Power Tools for OpenXML. Many OpenXML developers are aware of the FlatOpc format. This is where you take an entire docx and you change it to a single XML file. The binary parts are stored in base64 encoded ASCII, and the remainder of the XML is just there in plain form, right there in the FlatOpc file. This is useful in a number of scenarios. You can write an XSLT transform over FlatOpc content really rather easily. So I can convert to FlatOpc some file. If I assign it, what we get is an XML document variable, and we can work with this as we would any XML in PowerShell. There are arguments there. Another argument is output format, and I could tell it instead of having an XML document, I could get an X document. So now it's a link to XML X document object. Another useful variety of return from ConvertTo-FlatOpc is just plain text. And when we look at it, we see the entire FlatOpc in text form. One thing that this is useful for is that we can use the select string commandlet to look for particular content. Let's say that I want to look for any line that has RID1 in the entire document. I can convert to FlatOpc, output that to select string, and I'm looking for quote RID1. And we see that there are two different places where it uses RID1 in the document. Another thing, let's create a new docx. We'll call it with text box, and I'll give it the text box argument. Now we can look for that txbx content in this document. So I can run convert to FlatOpc passing with textbox.docx. I'll tell it I want to see the text of the FlatOpc, and I'll select string txbx content. I could adjust this like this. I'll create a new script, and let's say that I want to look for all of the documents that have a text box in them in this directory. I'll do a where object. So here I have a little PowerShell script that does dir star.docx. It then gets the results of convert to FlatOpc, outputting as text, and then doing select string against txbx content. And then the where object lambda returns result.count, and this indicates whether this will then filter those docx's so that we see just the list of documents that have a text box. And we see just our document with text box. If I change this, let's look to see all of the documents that have run properties. And we see lots of documents have run properties. And of course, not only can we convert to FlatOpc, we can also, once we have a FlatOpc document, maybe we transform it using XSLT, maybe we do something else with it, whatever, we can also convert it back to a ordinary OPC document, in other words, to a docx that is actually a zip file. We would use the ConvertFrom-FlatOpc commandlet to do that. There you have it. That's what FlatOpc is all about, converting binary docx, XLSX, PPTX to a flat XML file, just one XML file for the entire document, and then converting it back to the binary OPC form as appropriate. Cheers.